Welcome to The Pastor and the Professor, a show that invites you into our everyday conversations about faith, life, and ministry.
We're your hosts. I'm Roger, the pastor.
And I'm Mary Jo, the professor.
Oh, that's much better. Much more there.
Clap, clap.
Clap, clap. Well, today we are continuing our conversation about having natural faith conversations, evangelism, and this is our third video on the topic. And today we're going to be focusing on, caring about people in a meaningful way. So, Mary Jo, how do we care about people in a meaningful way?
Well, I was just caring about you in a meaningful way by pulling down your paper so that it didn't throw off the white balance.
It's kind of fun, though. It throws it off. The camera's like, no.
So
Thank you for caring about me, though, and the camera.
Oh my goodness. So there are many ways that we can care for people in a meaningful way. And
yes.
In fact, the scriptures don't ignore this. The scriptures actually tell us, they give us many admonitions. So you want to share some of those?
Sure. And one of those is from Proverbs 31:9. And it says, "Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and the needy." And then Ezekiel 16:49 says, "Now this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and the needy." And you'll find a bunch of passages, especially in Proverbs and throughout Scripture. So, Mary Jo, the old adage, people don't care what you think until they know that you care. What do you think about that?
Well, in some ways it's true. In some ways it's false. Like we don't say about like scientific discoveries like, oh, I don't care about that until I know that you care about me, right? You know, so there's some element of truth of that you should care about the truth for the sake of the truth, right? The truth is an end in itself. But that's just typically not how people operate. That's not how they choose to live. So one of the things that we have to do is we have to show people that we do actually care about them while we're communicating truth with them. Especially if your goal is evangelism. If you're just trying to download Jesus on them, like you've got a pre-prescribed methodology. I'm going to do this, and this, and then offer them Jesus. And then if they don't accept it, I'm just going to walk away. Well, that's demeaning to people. That doesn't show any care or concern for where they are in their life.
They feel like a Jesus project.
Yeah, that's our colloquialism is. We call them, you're treating them like a Jesus project, and nobody wants to feel that way. How would you feel if you were just an atheist project, and when the person didn't convert you, they just took off, right? Yeah. Whatever, you're not worth my time. So that's the problem. The reason that the Bible is telling us to show and demonstrate care and concern for people is because God has care and concern for his people, right? He actually loves them very much, and he wants to be in relationship with them. So when you demonstrate care and concern for a person in meaningful ways, listening to them, empathizing with them, those kinds of things, you are actually demonstrating to them that there is a very real God who does also, that you're reflecting, like he also is empathetic towards them. So in our desire to want to see people come to know God, we want to make sure they're coming to know the God of the Bible, the one who enters into relationship with us and desires to have that because he cares for his creation.
And I think as a demonstration of that is, I often think of a role reversal. So if I were on the other side of the conversation, how would I want that person to respond to me? And I would be looking for nods of affirmation, some smiles, some concern, some empathy from the body language, from the face, from the tone of the voice. Those things come into play when you're having a conversation with people. We've had a ton of people who are more like robots, and they sit there and just look at you. And they look mad at you. They're not, but they look that way. So be sure to be aware, be self-aware of how you're conveying yourself to people when you're talking to them.
Okay, and there's more scripture to be had here.
Oh, and I dropped my paper.
So we did some. Is that a euphemism? I dropped my paper. I'm now out. So the scripture in 1 Corinthians 13, there's all this stuff on love, but if you pay attention to the whole chapter, there's this part that says that if we can speak in the tongue of angels, men and angels, right? So if we have all this knowledge and we're very skilled, but we have not love, we come across as a noisy gong or clanging cymbal. And
that's loud.
Yeah, so for people who've never taught band in the public schools, it is really loud. And what this passage is telling us, what Paul's telling the Corinthian church, is that if you just, go after somebody with truth, you come across as an annoyance if you don't pair it with love.
Yes.
If you don't have love. So that's one of it's just a straight up admonition from the Apostle Paul. We've been talking about the reasons of how it demonstrates, God's relational side himself. But also when you put together empathy with the reasons for God's existence, that is a powerful, powerful testimony. Because people see it lived out in your life. They see the reality of God actually being lived out in front of them. And that is a very powerful testimony.
Oh, that's so good. Thanks for sharing that. All right, as an update, today we're going to be focusing on HBU, Houston Baptist University, and they are gearing up for their fall semester. Here it is, the end of July. We're looking at fall 2021. Mary Jo is an assistant professor of apologetics at Houston Baptist University, entering your 10th year. Is that right?
This will be the 10th year of teaching.
So that's coming up, and she teaches in the apologetics program, but I know that they've got some degrees that people might be interested in taking fully online, maybe some new degrees that they're going to be offering.
Not nude. New degrees.
Yeah. Sorry, did I say that?
And they kind of slip together a little bit.
It's my southern accent. So new, N-E-W, make sure we make that very clear.
The other ones would be way more exciting.
No, that's another university. That's not this one. This is a private Christian university. So they don't do that there.
So where are we going with this one?
I don't know.
Do you want me to say what
have
degrees
some
we
empathy?
have?
Yes, run with
it. We do offer. I'm gonna highlight the one that I teach mostly in, which is we have a Master of Arts in Apologetics, and it's fully online. It's a 36-hour degree. So if you're interested in pursuing the defense of the faith, the arguments for the existence of God, and how to do so in an empathetic and relational way, then our program is a really good fit for you. And you can do it all from the luxury of your own home office, or bedroom, or wherever you like to do your study. We also have a new seminary. It's sort of new. We've had it for a little bit, Houston Theological Seminary, where you can get a Master's of Divinity. So you might want to check into that as well. Another 36-hour degree,
yes.
And well worth studying and growing in your knowledge of God. What else would you like?
So, and also, Dr. Craig Evans is the dean?
Yeah, he's the head of that. Well, not the dean, but he's the head of the seminary.
Head of the seminary. Great individual. Go look up on Amazon, Craig Evans. He's got like 1,000 books that he's written. It's not really, I'm exaggerating, but he's got a ton of resources.
It's got to be right up there.
So he's leading the seminary, so he is very qualified to lead that, and I think you'll enjoy that as well. All right, so our next video will focus on being interested in people. We kind of alluded to that today. Are people simply a means to an end? Do we view our needs and our perspectives as better than others? That's next time.